All right, so Thriller, real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so yesterday, man, we got the unfortunate news that the fellow that was coaching us, George Perles, passed, man. What what your what was your initial thoughts or feeling about it, man? Did it hit you any type of way or?
Nah, it just caught me off guard. I knew he had been, struggling with some health issues, but I never knew it was to the extent that he was, you know, he had, was that close to him passing away. I don't know what the final prognosis was, what they said, what caused his death or whatever, but it caught me off guard, man. I definitely wasn't prepared to hear that.
Right. So on there, when you did hear, did it cause you to reflect any? You think back to young Thrill coming out of high school and that relationship you and GP had?
Yeah, I went all the way back, man, because GP he offered me as an eighth grader, man. I thought about that when I used to always go to the Michigan State camps in middle school and high school, and he always had been recruiting me ever since I was in middle school. So I was like, man, he was the first coach to really recruit me and the first coach to actually offer me a scholarship. And going through the relationship we established through college, he had a lot of trust and faith in me, put a lot on my plate, and yeah, it was it's always sad to see you know somebody pass on.
So on there, Thrill, with all the success you had in high school, you had a ton of choices to go somewhere. I mean, was it did GP play a big factor in you going to Michigan State or making that choice, or?
Yeah, I would say because I felt that Michigan State really, really wanted me, and like I said, they have been recruiting me since I was an early high school kid, and it's just me going to their camps every year. It just felt like a home away from home when it came for me to decide. I mean, I had a couple other choices I narrowed it down to, but at the end of the day, State just felt like home, a home from home. So.
Now, did GP come to your house when they was recruiting you, or what?
Yeah, he came to my house. He came to my basketball games. He came to my baseball games. Yeah, he came to everything. He was there consistently at my baseball practices, at my basketball games. I still got photos of him and Coach Parker and Baggett sitting in the stands at my basketball game.
Oh yeah. So then,
Yeah,
then, then, then how did you tell them you was coming to Michigan State? I mean, nowadays they do these big things or whatever. Or when did they become aware that you was gonna come or that you committed or whatever? What was that like?
how did I actually ended up doing a press conference, but before I did the press conference, I called GP and I remember calling them, and I think they were in a team meeting, and the secretary went and got him, and he came, and I told him, I appreciate him recruiting me and putting a lot of time and effort, and if I can, I like to wear number six, and when I come to Michigan State, so that was, and that's kind of how our conversation went, and obviously he was ecstatic and happy and everything like that. So that's how our phone call went, and then I had a press conference at the school, and news people were there and reporters and in the gymnasium, kind of like they do now. I think I might have been at the front end of doing stuff like that around here, but yeah, that's how I did it.
So yeah, man, I wore number six in high school too, and I told them I wanted to wear number six when I got to Michigan State, and
Right,
I ain't never heard of no meal to thrill, but it wasn't happening.
right,
It was like we don't let freshmen pick single digit numbers. I'm like, why this dude got it? So look on
right.
their meal. So like GP. I mean, talking to people, they always say GP recruited certain type of kids, had certain type of players. I mean, could you speak to that? What type of people did he get attracted to and bring around, and what type of player did he want on his team?
I mean, GP was from his background was NFL steel curtain, rough, tough nosed type of kids, and I think those were the type of players that he wanted to recruit, and I think those are the type of kids that helped turn the program around. Uh, you know, during his time there. So he wanted those gritty, those hard nosed kids that weren't afraid to mix it up. And I think that's, again, like I said, that's what kind of established his game of play. Most people would say, hey, we may not have won as many games as we hoped to when we played there, but when you played us, you knew you were in a game because we were going to hit you in the mouth. And I think on both sides of the ball, being physical and up front, and then on the defensive side, I think that's kind of was what he built.
So Thrill though, you real polished, man. You valedictorian, you Farmington Hills. How you fit in with GP people? How you fit in with all them teammates you had?
Hey man, we all good, man. You can't hey, you gotta have a balance. You gotta have a balance. I can mix it up a little bit when I need to. So I mean, I think you know he knew how to recruit the kids that he felt he needed, and but I think for the most part, you know, he just wanted to recruit uh, tough nosed kids.
Now on there, Mill, everybody whenever we get together, we everybody got GP stories or whatever. Are there any life lessons that you kind of apply to what you got going on now? That maybe some of them sayings that he say that you kind of still hear them in the back of your head as you go throughout your life now.
Yeah, I mean, me coaching high school and little league, and uh, I mean, I still use a lot of his mottos or his mantras, so to speak. Where if you on time, you late, be there 5 minutes early, and then you know, which you probably heard other people will say or have said, but work hard, keep your mouth shut, and good things will happen. And so I use that a lot with the kids that I coach. Just trying to get them kids, just a different breed of kids nowadays, but just trying to get kids to work hard, and want to be part of a team. I think that was, that's what some of the things that I take to today.
Did you ever get in trouble with GP, man?
He yelled at me a few times, man,
What did he yell at you for?
for fumbling the snaps, man, when I
Did he
was at
did he cuss
quarterback.
at you or he just yelled at you?
No, I think he just yelled at me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah,
I mean,
I
I
ain't get
guess
yelled.
that's a
I ain't get
testament
yelled at
to
too
his
much.
coaching style. He used different techniques on different players. So y'all, like, I just, I done had whatever, but I didn't know all the history not being in Michigan or whatever. So whenever he spoke about you or Meal, it's like he didn't even want to. He act like he ain't want me to touch you, man. So
Yeah, man.
so then real quick, Mill. So now online, the little Spartan Dog group, people are kind of talking about maybe some ideas of ways where we can pay honor to GP next year. Somebody said it'd be dope if they put the block S on the helmet. You got any ideas or think of any things that'll be dope or that may be cool to kind of honor
Uh,
GP?
I think just I hadn't really thought that deep yet. I mean, I think the Block S is good. I think some of his sayings. Maybe if we had like T-shirts or something like that at one of the games, and everybody that played for him or something like that would have one of his little sayings or little that he would always say on the shirt or something like that. Um, yeah, that's a good question, man. I got to think about that one for a minute.
All right, and then last thing, so Mill, because you in Michigan, what impact did GP have on the program? I mean, was it bad before he got there, and then he put it up to a certain level, or what was going on, kind of prior and during and afterwards with GP?
Yeah, so I know before he got there, Michigan State had been struggling um, in the early '80s, and then he got there and he turned the program around, in terms of recruiting the kids. I remember a lot of the top kids, high school kids, started going there You had Andre Rison, you had John Miller. Those were like the one and two, or both of those guys were like in the top three kids or high school kids that come out that year. There was another guy named Maurice Ware from Albion. He was also a top recruit. So all the top kids had started going to committing to Michigan State, and I think it was because of GP and his style of recruiting and the style of play. And then obviously them going to start going to the bowls, and the Rose Bowl obviously was his pinnacle. Him in '87, I think '87, '88, because then we got there in '90. So yeah, I think it was '87, '88 they won the Rose Bowl. So that was the height of all heightness back then, and I think that's when the program started turning around.
All right, well, cool, man. I appreciate your time.
All right, man, appreciate it.
All right, I'll hit you later.